Yeah, guys, we'll go further. I think in your system, yesterday I showed you like how to install database software, right? So I think in your system, Java is ready, and so I hope you know the database ready, right? So your application Java ready and what the database ready. If Java ready and database ready, then we need to make the provide the communication between what Java to database, right? Because to provide the communication between the Java to database, yeah, the steps to design the first application we need to see. Steps to design the first application, right? Exactly. Because what are the steps we need to follow? Steps to design the first application. Because what are the steps we need to follow? You see, for example, JDBC means what I want to connect with the Java to database connectivity, right? You see, but in JDBC we will write the queries at Java side, right? Yes, in JDBC we'll write the queries at what Java side. String query one equal to, yes, you can write the query set what Java side, right? String to query one equal to create table name. So we are writing the query set Java side. Definitely, when you write the query set Java side, we are using Java API syntaxes, right? Yes, when you write the query set Java side, we will use what Java syntax or not. We will use Java API rules and regulations, guys. Yes, but who will execute these queries when the Java application is running? Yes, when the Java application running, who is responsible to execute these queries? Database, right? Database is responsible to execute the queries, right? But database knows only like DB, database engine responsible to execute the query. But DB required only which queries? SQL API queries, right? Exactly. Yes, the point is we are writing the queries at Java side. Yes, we are writing the queries at what? Java side using Java API rules and regulations. But who will execute these queries means database. Database required what type of queries? SQL API queries, right? Yes or no? DB required what type of queries means SQL API queries, right? SQL API queries. That's what, guys, you require one translator who translate your Java API queries into what SQL API, right? Guys, we require one translator who translate what your Java API syntax into what SQL syntaxes, right? Nothing but what that is called driver. Guys, because Java we are writing the queries at Java side, Java using Java API rules and regulations. But who will execute these queries means database. Database can understand what queries. Database can understand only like SQL API, right? We require one translator who translate your Java API queries into what SQL API queries, right? Nothing but driver. Yes, nothing but what driver, right? Driver is a translator who translate Java API syntax queries into what a database format. That's what, guys. Maybe you know English, I know Telugu. Okay, you know English, I know Telugu. Then communication is not happen properly, right? In that case, we need to one translator who translate my Telugu to the English and English to the Telugu, right? Exactly. That's what, guys. First of all, in application step one is what we need to load the driver, guys. First of all, load the driver, right? Exactly. Okay, the first step is what we need to load the driver, right? Driver is a translator who translate your Java API syntax into what a database format, right? Because Java driver is a translator who translate Java API syntax into what database format or not. Yeah, first of all, we need to load the driver, guys. Translator we have to make. Then what? Next one is what? Create the. Tell me, create the connection between. Create the connection between Java to what database, right? Yes, create the connection between Java to database. Once loading the driver is completed, then we need to create the connection between what Java to database, right? Exactly. Yes, once the connection is ready, we need to write and process the query, right? Step 3 is what? Write and process the query, right? Exactly. Okay, so what is step 4? Tell me how. Load the driver, create the connection between the Java database, write and process the query. Once the connection is ready, we need to execute the query, right? That's what you need to write and what process the query. Okay, so what is step 4? Tell me then. Because we need to really Yes, can you hear me? Yeah, network disconnected. Fine. Guys, four steps are clear. First step is what? Load the driver. Driver is a translator who translates the Java API syntax into the database format, right? First, we need to load the driver, guys. Second step is after driver loading is completed, we need to create the connection. We need to create the connection, right? Once the connection is done, write the query, write and process the query. So whatever the query you want, just you can write the query and what? Process the query, right? Exactly. After processing the query, the last step is what? Release the resources, right? Because maybe you open database connection, you open the statement object and all. So we need to tell me, we need to release the resources or not. Yeah, these are the steps we need to follow. Guys, you got the point, right? Yeah, that is information, guys. Okay, steps to design the first application are the steps, right? Okay, without wasting the time, let me start the step one. Let me start what step one, right? Exactly. From the step one, load the driver. Now, observe the point here. First step is what I want to load the translator, right? Load the driver. Because load the driver means what is a driver, sir? Because driver is a Java class only. Because driver is a what? Java class. Okay, Java class given by. Tell me, guys, driver is a Java class given by. Guys, tell me who given the driver class name means. Driver is a Java class given by. Okay, database vendor. Because driver is a Java class given by database vendor. So, for example, if you take the Oracle driver, Oracle driver class name is what? Oracle dot JDBC dot driver dot. The class is called what? Oracle driver is a class. Okay, this is the Oracle driver is a Java class only. Just driver is a Java class given by database vendor. My driver is a Java class given by database vendor. And if you take the MySQL driver. If you take the MySQL driver, com.jdbc.driver something like driver class. Then what a conclusion, guys? Driver is a Java class. Who given this driver class? This driver class is given by database vendor. Driver is a Java class given by database vendor. So they given the database vendors now. They given the given database vendor in the form of in the form of what? Jar file actually. Guys, in the form of what? Jar file, right? Exactly. Guys, driver is a Java class given by database vendor in the form of what? Jar file. If you take the Oracle driver, the class name is what? Oracle.jdbc.driver.oracle driver. If it's a MySQL driver means what? com.jdbc.mysql.what driver, right? Exactly. So you are saying that this is given by database vendor in the form of the jar file, ma? Okay, the driver class is given by database vendor in the form of the jar file, right? Okay, what is jar file location? Because the jar file location is, I think in your system, maybe yesterday you installed Java's database software, right? So once you install the database, by default it goes to local disk C. Local disk C, app, Ratan product 18.0. So DB home XE is there. In the DB home XE, there you can find the JDBC folder. This is JDBC folder. There we can see lib folder. There you can see OJDBC 8 folder, right? Executable jar. Yeah, this is the main jar. OJDBC 8 is the jar. Just you can copy this location. The jar file location is this one. In the jar file location, the jar file name is what? OJDBC 8.jar. We have to check. Yes, you got the point, right? Yeah, this is the jar file location, guys. We understood that driver is a Java class given by database vendor. Database vendor, MySQL vendor given the driver class name, which is responsible to convert the queries into MySQL format. Oracle vendor given the driver class name, which is responsible to convert the queries into which format? Oracle format, right? Guys, which format? Oracle format or not? Guys, yes or no? Driver is a Java class given by database vendor in the form of what? jar file. If you take the Oracle driver means this is a process. MySQL driver means what? This is a process, right? The jar file location, guys. The jar file location is what? OJDBC 8.jar, right? OJDBC what? 8.jar, right? Exactly. Is that the jar file location? The jar file location is what? JDBC lib or JDBC 8.jar, right? Exactly. Because loading the driver is nothing but what? I need to load this class, right? Because to load the class, okay. How to load the class? Tell me. To load the class, use for name method. That's is what for name method, and it is a guys. How to load this class? To load the class, use the for name method. It is a okay static method of which class, guys? Here system class. Guys, it is a static method of what? System class, right? Exactly. Yes, that's what I can use the class dot which method I need to use a for name method. Class dot for name, I want to load which class here? This is a class, right? Exactly. Because if we take this is a class, right? Yeah, we need to give the class name as argument, right? Exactly. Because in this class name, Oracle driver class name, Oracle.jdbc.driver is a package name. Oracle.jdbc.driver is what? A package name. Oracle driver is a class name, right? Because Oracle driver is a only this is a class name and this is the package name. Even MySQL driver also this is the class name and this is called package name, right? Exactly. Guys, first step is clear. Load the driver. Driver is a translator who translate whatever the queries you are writing in the Java side. Those queries will be converted into the corresponding database format. Sir, who will do that process? Sir, driver will do that. Sir, who give this driver? Sir, driver is a Java class given by database people. Oracle vendor, Oracle database per people, vendor in the sense company. Oracle vendor given the jar file. The jar file is responsible to convert the queries into Oracle format. MySQL vendor given the MySQL vendor given the jar file responsible to convert the data into MySQL format. Sir, I want load this driver first. To load this driver, we need to use which method? For name method, right? Yeah, for name is a static method belongs to the class. That's what class dot for name. You can give this class name, right? That's it. When you're trying to load the class, this for name method throws class not found exception, guys. So we need to handle the class not found exception, right? Because first step we are trying to load the driver. At runtime, if the class is not available, you'll get the class not found exception, right? At runtime, okay, runtime. So if the class is what? If the class is what? Not present, we will get what? Yeah, you will get which exception, guys? Here, okay, class. Yeah, class not found exception, right? Exactly. Yes, we need to handle this exception, class not found exception, right? Exactly. So let me do up to this one is practically, so we'll get the clarity how to load the driver. This all. First step, let me do practical. This is very simple. Load the driver. Driver is a class given by database vendor. Because when you download Eclipse ID, download Eclipse ID. So in Eclipse ID is asking workspace, right? Yeah, in a workspace. So JDBC 7 PM, fine, no problem. Just give a workspace workspace amount. So where all the files will be stored, right? Workspace is a location where all the files will be saved. What all the files are saved, right? Give some workspace location, guys. Yeah, so then Eclipse ID will be open, right? In Eclipse ID, can you please write the code? In Eclipse ID, can you please write the code, right? Exactly. So this is my Eclipse ID. Yeah. If in Eclipse ID, first you need to create your own project. So go to the file menu. Go to the file menu, click on the new. Go to the file menu, click on the new. I want to select the Java project. Yes, go to the file menu, click on the new Java project is selected. Once if you select the Java project, the project name is what? JDBC 6 p.m. example, something like this. JDBC 6 p.m. example, right? Okay, fine. This is my project name, right? Just click on the finish. It's asking like you want to create a module, sir. Yeah, just please don't create the modules. Modules are not required as of now. Leave the modules. Because once if you create the project, this is a project. Under this project, you'll get the SRC folder. Nothing but a source code folder. SRC is nothing but what? Source code folder, right? Because in this folder, right click once. In this folder, we need to create the class. Because right click on this folder. Yeah, click on the new. I want to take what? Class, right? Just you can take the class. Because I want to create example one, right? Give the package name com.tcs. So JDBC example, right? JDBC example. Just to give the package name. When you create the class in Eclipse ID, first it is asking package name. The class name is what? Test connection one. The first file, right? Test connection one. Just click on the main method. Just click on the finish, right? Just give the package name, give the class name. Just give the package name and what? Give the class name, package name, and main method, right? Click on the main method. Click on the finish. Then you'll get the code like this, right? Yeah, first step, guys. First step is what? Step one. We need to load the load the driver, right? Exactly. Yes, how to load the driver? Tell me. To load the driver, we need to go for the class dot. Tell me a class dot what? Class dot for name, right? Class dot for name method we have to use. As to load the driver, we need to use what? Class dot for name, right? Class dot for name. Which one you want to load here? Oracle dot. Tell me here, anyone please respond. Your class, no one is responding. I want to load the driver, right? To load the driver, we have to use a class dot for name, no? And for name, I want to load the driver class. What is the driver class name? Oracle dot JDBC dot. Okay, driver dot. The class is which class here? Oracle driver class, right? Okay, fine. That's the Oracle driver class. I told you that this line throwing which exception? That line is throwing which exception, guys? Driver loaded what? Successfully. Yes, please respond. First line is throwing which exception? Class dot for name. Class dot for name is throwing which exception? Yeah. Yes, class dot for name is throwing exception like class not found exception. Just to place the cursor, we need to handle that exception, right? We need to handle exception using try catch blocks or throws keyword. Let me use the throws keyword. So we got the message like throws class not found exception, right? Guys, throws what? Throws the class not found exception, right? Exactly. As public static void main throws which exception here? Class not found exception. We need to load the driver, right? Exactly. Guys, that is information enough. To load the driver, class dot for name we have to use for name of water oracle.jdbc.driver dot water oracle driver, right? Exactly. I simply can run this code. We got the class not found exception. Very good. Because he's saying that oracle.jdbc.driver dot oracle driver class is found or not found exception. No? Class not found exception. Sir, why it is class not found exception, sir? Yes, why it is class not found exception means. Tell me here. Why it is class not found exception? Yeah, because who given this class? Tell me. This class is given by database vendor, right? The database vendor given this class name. So we need to this class is given by jar file, right? We need to give the application to this jar file. Because to run the code, we need to give the jar file to the application, right? Because to run the code, we need to give what? We need to give the. Tell me, guys. We need to give the jar file to application. Sir, how to give the jar file to the application? To give the jar file to the application, we need to give the jar file to the application. To run the code, we need to give the jar file to the application using build path option. Yes, using what? Build path, right? Exactly. Sir, how to build path, sir? Yes, to do the build path here, right click on the project, build path. Yes, right click on the project, build path, and what? Configure build path. So yeah, simple, very simple. Right click on the project. This is my project, right? Right click on the project, build path. We need to go for the configure build path, right? Click on the configure build path. Configure build path is, let me click on the class path. In the class path, we have the add external jars, right? Click on add external jars. Go on, check the location. In my location, where is my jar file is there? Local disk C, local disk C, program files, Apache Foundation, Tomcat 9, sorry. Yes, local disk C, program, local disk C, directly app folder. In app folder, Ratan folder is there, product is there, 18.0 is there, DB home XE is there, right? DB home XE is there. There you can find the JDBC folder. I given the location, right? By seeing that location, just you can go to the jar file location. Lib folder, JDBC lib folder. There you can select JDBC 8. It's just the JDBC 8. So forget they are dependent jars. So we don't need to focus on the dependent jar. Just you can go for main jar, right? Go JDBC 8 jar. That's it. Just click on open. That's it. So you get the data here. Click on apply. Yes, once if you click on apply, then automatically the jar file is applicable to your project. Because once the build path is done, here we can get the reference libraries one folder actually. Reference libraries, right? Yeah, just to open this one, here you can find the jar what we build path. Guys, this is called what? Referenced reference libraries, right? Yeah, reference libraries, right? Exactly. Guys, you got the point or not? Class.forName. Class.forName. Guys, class.forName, right? This is the driver class. Because once the build path is done, just you can run the code. Then we see the message here, driver loaded successfully, right? Exactly. Guys, driver loaded what? Successfully or not? That's it. Because you got the point, right? We got the point, right? Driver loaded successfully or not? That's it or no? How to build path? Right click on the project. Right click on the project, build path. To build path, we need to right click on the project. So right click on what? Right click on the project. Yes, right click on the project. Where are we writing? Yeah, right click on the project. Right click on the project, click on the build path. Okay, build path. Right click on the project, build path. Next one is what? Configure build path. Okay, so you need to go for what? Configure. Okay, configure build path, right? Exactly. Just right click on the project, build path, and what? Configure build path. You can go for the libraries. Okay, libraries. Yeah, libraries. Right click on the project, build path, configure build path, libraries. After libraries, what? Click on the libraries. Once you click on the libraries, you need to go for the class path is there. In the class path, then we need to go for add external jars. Add external jars. Click on this and go to the folder location. Go to file location. Go to file location. Okay, select the jar, right? Select the jar file. Just click on the finish, right? That's it. Select the jar file. Just click on the finish. Then we can run the code. Definitely the application will work, right? That's it. That's driver loading is complete, right? That's the point we have to do. Because once the driver loading is completed, second step is very simple. What is the second step, guys? Here, create the connection, right? Create the connection. That's it. Just to create the connection, simply the second step, what we need to do. I want to create the connection, guys. Step 2. Okay, so something like create the connection, right? Exactly. Just create the connection means what? Just let me take the connection object I'm taking. Connection reference variable, you can take the connection. Because to get the connection, you need to go for the driver manager class. Driver manager dot get connection method we have to use. Because driver manager dot what? Get connection, right? Because driver manager class contains get connection method which returns the connection object. Driver manager dot get connection, right? Because expecting the 3 arguments. What are 3 arguments? Tell me here. We need to pass the username. Tell me guys, we need to pass what? Username, and we need to pass the username. Just take the password. So username of the database, password of the database, and database URL pattern. That's total. How many arguments you have to pass total here? 3 arguments, right? Driver manager dot get connection, guys. Driver manager dot get connection. URL pattern, username, and what? Password, right? Yeah. Because to connect with any database, first of all, the database contains URL, nothing but IP address of the database. But the IP address JDBC colon plus URL, database URL. Because every database contains its own fixed URLs. JDBC colon, Oracle colon, thin colon, @localhost. Because actually in place of localhost, we need to pass the what you can say, IP address of the database, right? If the database is there in a different host, we need to pass the IP address there. JDBC colon, Oracle colon, thin colon, @localhost colon, 1521 colon, X is a logical name, database logical name. This is like database URL. Next one is what a database username. Yes, yesterday we returned the, I told you that JDBC database default username is what? There's one default username here, system, right? System is a default username. Just you can take the password. I think give the password is what, manager, right? Exactly. Because to connect with any database, driver manager class, driver manager dot what, get connection. Driver manager dot get connection expecting the 3 arguments, URL, username, and what, password, right? Guys, URL, username, and what, password, right? Exactly. Because database URL, this one, right? JDBC colon Oracle colon like this. Database username is system, password is what, manager. So can you please give me this all the 3 values here? JDBC colon Oracle colon. This is the first argument is a URL argument. We can put in the double quotes. This is the URL is ready. Second argument is what, username. What is the username here? The username will be like system. Last one is what, password. The password will be like, manager, right? As username and password, right? That's it. Because we are trying to connect to the database, guys. If you are connected to the database, if the database is not present, you'll get the exception. Which exception? SQL exception, guys. Because you'll get the exception is what, SQL exception. Because that's what we need to handle SQL exception, just to place the cursor. In Eclipse side, it is asking that you want you want try catch blocks or throws keyword, because we need to handle exception using try catch and throws, right? Yes, let me first example go with the throws keyword. Next example, let me handle using try catches. Because first step, when you load the driver, it is throwing like, okay, class not found exception. Second step is what, when you create the connection. When you create the connection, connection equal driver manage dot get connection, right? Yeah, driver manage dot what, get connection. This is the URL pattern, username, and what, password, right? Exactly. Guys, the statement is clear. Yeah, driver manage dot get connection, URL, username, password, right? Yeah, with that you can see the message. So connection created. Tell me, so connection connection created what? Okay, successfully, right? Yes, connection created successfully. That's it. Okay, simply you can run this code, go and check the connection is created or not created once. Okay, simply can run this code. Yeah, we got the driver loaded successfully, connection created successfully or not. So if you want, you can print the connection reference variable. Maybe CoreJava, the reference variable you are printing, you'll get the hash code, right? You will get the hash code. Let's run this code. We got the message like driver loaded successfully, connection created successfully, right? This is the connection. Okay, this is the connection or not. That's it. Just wait on the 2 steps, right? So we need to create the connection. First step is we need to load the driver, right? Driver is a translator who translated Java API queries into what, database format. First one. Yes or no? So that's the point. So next one is what? Create the connection, right? To create the connection, driver manager to what? Get connection method we have to use. This is the URL pattern, this is username, and this is called password, right? Exactly. Because connection created what, successfully, right? That's information. Yeah. Yes, can you please check up to this point? So I shared yesterday class notes, right? I think 2 more steps are pending. The 2 more steps we'll discuss in tomorrow class. So what's your class notes link? So this is like first application, right? Okay, first application. Yes, once if you complete the formalities, you'll share the materials so that you can check the materials. Okay. As of now, you can check this protectortest.com file, protectortest.com/Advjava 6. When you open that, is asking password. The password for that link is what? Java. JAVA is the password. Okay. Yeah. Because tomorrow the link is not working. The link will not work. Who are going to continue for the tomorrow onwards, complete the fee payment by tomorrow morning. By tomorrow morning, you complete the fee payments, and you can okay, join the class. If you have any questions, just you can call the office number, and you're able to see the chart, right? So you're able to see the chart, right? Yeah. Bye guys. Tomorrow we'll meet.